good evening, Dirtfish Rally friends, and welcome to our Day 2 review of all the action and all the drama that we saw happening out on the stages at Rally New Zealand today. David, a very different day from yesterday. Yesterday was long with a little bit of drama. Today was short with lots of drama.
And lots more rain.
Lots more rain.
Lots more rain.
Lots more rain. We are just drying out. By the way, folks, we're in the wonderful Dirtfish house, about 3 or 4 k's from service. And we're back here because we were absolutely soaked through.
Yeah.
Soaked through. Quite literally soaked through.
Totally. I mean, it has been, it's a talking point, isn't it? Because it's rained solidly from first thing this morning. Okay, it did briefly stop for 10 minutes or so mid-afternoon. But yeah, it poured down. In fact, it's rained pretty much on and off from Friday morning.
It really has.
But yeah, you're right, Cole. Completely different, not completely different style of roads, quite a different style of roads. We were up in the north of Auckland today, south of Auckland yesterday, those beautiful Whanga Coast, Te Akau stages yesterday. Up around, the likes of Kaipara Hills, more kind of classic New Zealand roads. Obviously loads of camber, but a more consistent road surface, but just a short day.
Such a short day. Just
very short day.
6 stages today, 80 kilometres. Half the length of yesterday. Half the length of yesterday. But half the length twice.
Is less than half of
we'll
today.
talk about that in a bit. I keep thinking there can't be 4 stages tomorrow, but there are. But we'll talk about that in a bit. Half the length of stages today, twice the drama. Let's talk about that, David, because the drama really started first thing this morning. We got up thinking that Tänak was leading the rally. Halfway up the road, we were just checking the overnight news to discover that the Toyotas were fine, but the Hyundais had been punished for an over-boosting offence in the opening stage of the rally. Tänak and Neuville penalised 5 seconds each. Dropped Tänak behind Evans and put him on the back foot from the very first stage of the morning.
Psychologically, it's 5 seconds, it's nothing. And although we do talk about the fact that 10 seconds is quite a big lead on a fast rally like this, psychologically that does affect you. And we know that Tanak's a real strong head, and he's a good, he's a real sort of warrior in terms of the way he drives. But it would get to you.
Of course it would.
He'd fought all day yesterday, and we know how hard he'd had to push, the chances he's had to take and everything, and then it's just gone like that. Yeah. That was one of the big things that we'd seen all of that mileage yesterday, 100 miles, 160 kilometres, and there was nothing between them. And we went into today thinking, wow, if it was super close yesterday, it's going to be even closer today because there's less mileage. And it didn't really play out like that. That you had this theory, and I think you're quite right actually, Cole, that when they've got a lunchtime service, they didn't have that yesterday. There's in the back of your mind, again, psychologically, you're thinking, well, I'm only 2 stages or 3 stages away from service. I can push it a little bit more, take more of a risk. Whereas yesterday, the mindset was very much, okay,
I've got to get through.
Got to keep a little bit of margin because we've got to get it back to Auckland tomorrow night, last night.
So you and I spent a fair amount of time talking yesterday evening about Elfyn Evans and his chances today. He did then go into that opening stage in the lead of the rally. It all very rapidly went wrong for Elfyn. That second stage of the day, that mistake that he made, it was another mistake from Elfyn Evans when he was in a really strong position to push for a win here. Short day, not so many stages left, really had to give it everything, gave it a little too much, and it all ended badly.
Yeah, it did, and there's not much that you can add to that in the same way that we said exactly the same about Craig Breen yesterday. The British and Irish Lions, going back to rugby again, they haven't won down here for a long time.
You never move far from rugby when you're in this part of the world.
You're never far. And the British and Irish have struggled again, with Gus as well.
Well, with Gus, let's talk about it. So Evans, as you've seen from the footage here, it was a fairly heavy impact. The car actually rolled, a lot of damage to the rear of the car. He did get it back to service. We were hoping that they could more or less fix the car. It looked very similar to Callie's damage that he sustained in Greece, but there was more. There was roll cage damage, and that was the end of the day for Evans. A real disappointment. Disappointing for Evans. Disappointing that it took one of our 4 contenders out of the mix. The other driver who had a very dramatic morning, David, was, as you've already mentioned, Gus Greensmith.
Yeah, again, super disappointing, you know, for M Sport. You go back to yesterday morning, 1-2, fastest times, and yeah, Gus was in a strong position. He was looking really good for a top 5, fighting with Thierry. There is positives.
Real positives for
M
Gus.
Sport.
Yeah, and for Gus. Yeah.
Gus showed speed.
Yeah.
Again, M Sport showed speed. More stage wins for Craig today, returning after his crash yesterday.
3 out of 6 for Craig today.
Yeah, but at some point, it's you know, some of this has got to come together and give them the result they deserve.
Absolutely. By the way, if you want to hear our interviews with Gus and with Elvin, a little more detail on those 2 crashes, just have a look at our lunchtime review video, and the interviews are there. So yeah, Gus Greensmith was out of it, unfortunately, at lunchtime. So we then went into the afternoon, David. The weather was again quite inclement. You know, it looked at times as if it was going to clear up, and then at other times the rain, as we headed out of service up to the stages. It was biblical, wasn't it? It was so biblical that we lost all telephone reception and felt totally discombobulated
First time
for 20 minutes.
Literally, the rain came and it was you couldn't see. It was aquaplaning on the State Highway 1 or whatever going north. And then when we went, we'd gone to the first stage. They came from the first stage into the second, and there was one bridge, wasn't there, over where the motorway went over the top of the road, and all of the cars had parked under there to do all their tyre pressures and everything. Literally, cars were waiting. It was as one went, then the other one was coming in,
just sliding in. One went out.
Trying to keep dry, trying to keep out of the rain.
But the afternoon, David, the day very much belonged to Kalle Rovanperä. You know, he started in 4th place, 7.2 seconds, 7.1 seconds, I think it was, off the lead. May have been 7.2 actually. He ended the day nearly 30 seconds in the lead. He has the ability to do this, Rovanperä. Let's just hear from him, because he made a very good point at the end of the day. We caught up with Kalle, our event leader, championship leader, champion-elect potentially tomorrow. Let's hear what he said at the end of the day.
For sure, in the morning when I saw the condition, I definitely saw that as an opportunity for me. And yeah, we decided to push and enjoy the day. This year it has been actually in many rallies already like this that we can make some difference, and yeah, I always seem to enjoy it. Our car also works well on there, so for sure, why not to push and enjoy.
So tomorrow we've only got a few stages. We've got 31 kilometres. That's 31 kilometres to the youngest ever World Rally Champion. Will you think about that tonight? Will it affect your sleep?
I hope not. At least so far I have been not feeling anything special. So of course I will try to do a normal job.
Really interesting. I'm desperately trying to think what event it was where we had some terrible weather in the final stage. I think it was an evening stage.
I can't remember.
And again, he saw it as an opportunity. That point that he's made, he saw the rain as a real opportunity. Yeah. Others see it as a threat, a danger, something to endure. He sees it as an opportunity to attack.
With Kalle, he goes into that stage, first handful of corners, the car's working, the car's doing what he wants. And
remembered.
And
I've remembered. Estonia.
Yes. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
exactly.
the rain, biblical rain again.
It came and everything just hooks up. It works, and he's away. Yeah. And that's him in that groove for the rest of the day. Yeah. And then if he told us that in the first stage, you could have written the script. You knew then that he would be absolutely confident on top of the car and leading by the end of the day, and that's exactly what he's done.
Just a phenomenal performance. You know, yesterday 160 Ks, 4 cars separated by 7.2 seconds. The end of today, 80 kilometres further down the line, Rovanperä leads by half a minute.
Yesterday, Rovanperä compromised by road position.
He was absolutely, he was compromised, but you and I saw the road on Thursday night before the rains came down, and had it been like that, Rovanperä would have had a huge amount of work to do today.
But still, there was, and that's my point, is that he probably would have been leading.
I agree, totally. So a wonderful day for Kalle Rovanperä. He does go into that final day leading the event. Sebastian Ogier doing a really good job as a wingman for Rovanperä out there, David. What can we say about Ogier? You know, he had, what was the problem he had out there today? He had 1 or 2 small issues, but you know, he seemed quite happy where he was at. He wasn't prepared perhaps to take those risks in those difficult conditions to try and match the pace of Rovanperä. He was happy with where he was at.
Absolutely, and he's understanding of the team game, isn't he? You know, they want to 1-2. He knows that he could put it all out there and he could risk everything and try and take first place off Calais, but that's not really what he's about, and it's not really where he is in his career or anything, and I'm sure, you know, he'll be the first to jump out of the car and pat Calais on the back tomorrow.
I'm sure he will be. We heard from Seb at the end of the day, and this is what he had to say.
Well, day is over. It was wet, and we are happy that we brought the car back this afternoon. Very tricky condition with a lot of water, and one more time on this tricky condition, one man stand above is Calais, and yeah, hats off to him. He looks like he don't calculate too much when there's a lot of water, and then he's doing very well. So on our side, it's good to be where we are, and the target is to try to bring a double for the team. That would be fantastic for the manufacturer and for the Calais title also. So yeah, that's the way we resume it.
You remember the Saturday night before your first title all those years ago? Can you remember how it felt? It was Wednesday night.
I remember, yeah, but it was supposed to happen in Australia until the power stage where some drama happened for Mikko. And actually, I remember this night in Australia, I slept maybe 1 hour.
Thank you. So yeah, the man sitting in third then, David, at the end of the day is Tänak. Oh, dearie me. Tänak. I really feel for him just now because, you know, as we mentioned earlier on, he is driving probably as well as he's ever driven. He's taking risks. He's learning. I think he's still learning. Driving harder, absolutely. But he's continually frustrated. More problems with the car. More penalties this afternoon, by the way, for further infringements of this boost limits that's been set by the FIA. Issues with the car, issues with the transmission. You know, fair play to him for carrying on, but he's not a happy man just now.
He's not, and you know, those things are fairly negative for him right now. You know, that the penalties that have come, he's still not feeling comfortable with the car, and the frustration is that he knows the speed in that car. He knows what that car is capable of, and while they are taking steps, you know, they're working on the reliability, although again, transmission problems.
Similar
for him,
problems to the ones
transmission problems for Thierry. They're the team that are having the reliability issues, but there is potential in the car, and you know, it is ultimately tremendously frustrating.
Frustrating. We did catch up with him at the end of the day. Have we already done that bit?
I'm holding back a sneeze.
Are you holding back a sneeze? Have we already thrown to Oi?
No,
I'm not sure we haven't. Here we go. Let's hear from Tänak.
These things happen, you know. What can we say? It's not been the brightest day, you know, in the team, and then for sure, you know, it's been a bit of tough for everyone probably. We've been starting to have some transmission struggle again, and yeah, I've been just losing it out. So luckily the longest stage today was on quite good grip, so there actually we managed quite okay. It was pretty much drivable, but all the other stages where it was wet and muddy, you know, it's been quite demanding. So yeah, still in the end happy to be here.
Are these the same transmission problems we've heard you talking about in the past?
I mean, yeah, we are linked to Greece, so we couldn't really change anything much on transmission. So we had one set left, but it seems to yeah, slip away now as well. So
there we go. There were other issues out there. Takamoto Katsuta also put his car off the road today. Oliver Solberg struggled in the third Hyundai with a few issues as well today. So
terrible misfire
for poor Oliver.
Yeah.
So there we go, folks. It was a really entertaining day 2 here in New Zealand. Day 3 could not only be entertaining, it could very possibly, probably will be historic.
History-making, yeah.
Historic, history-making indeed. Folks, stick with us at dirtfish.com. We will bring you all the action from... has there ever been a shorter day? A shorter itinerary day in the WRC? 31 kilometres, 4 stages? No, I don't think there has. Folks, join us tomorrow and for all the action at dirtfish.com.